what were these animals, plants, whatever they were, what were they doing on the seafloor? In the case of this material from the Flinders Ranges, we've got good evidence that this is relatively shallow water. In other words, light could penetrate to the seafloor. And so it'd be possible, for instance, that some of these things might actually be marine algae. Others may be animal-like creatures, and others may be groups that are completely extinct, of which we have no modern representatives. That's the dilemma. So first of all, we have to ask, if these were animals, what were they feeding on? And the clue comes from looking at these surfaces. Now, forgetting the stains on the rocks, which were really just a product of the place where the rock was found, when you look at the texture of the rocks, you find that once you get away from the fossils and their feeding traces, there are lots of little knobs and grooves and rods and pucker marks, which is really quite rare on the bottom of sandstone layers in younger rocks. So it looks as though these layers of sand cascaded down from shallow water onto seafloor bottoms that had been quiet for a long time, and where lots of dead organisms had probably gathered, and where there were colonies of microbes growing on the seafloor, perhaps decomposing those dead organisms. Perhaps because they were in relatively shallow seawater, they were using sunlight and photosynthesis to actually reproduce and to use the nutrients that they got from the seafloor. So this was a kind of a world of slime, and very few animals were around to actually make use of that. Today we see that, but there are so many creatures in shallow seas today which are crawling around on the seafloor, eating the sand, digesting that organic material, that it's very rare that you see a slimy layer over the seafloor. But it happens. If you kill all the animals and all the plants in any environment, whether it be your aquarium or whether it be the pond in your backyard, or in a lake or in a river or even in the ocean, all of a sudden you see slime grows again. Microorganisms colonize the seafloor, they colonize rocks. And it's one of the hallmarks of very dangerous pollution that the bacteria and microorganisms take over, just like they did for all those billions of years before the Ediacran. So the Ediacran is the time of the interface between the world of slime and the world where animals appear to dominate.